try and get through the questions first, because you're not really there to sell anything. Think of it as being a detective at the moment. I want to investigate what they're doing and how they're utilizing home care so that then I can best position myself. All right, so I was in room 2 for just a hot minute with Ben and Braden and Ian. What did you hear that you liked out of there?
I thought Ben did a great job of explaining services and kind of going based off of the response he got from Ian. He went up a level of the care that they could provide and even discussed things that they could train their nurses for kind of specialty requests because it was a specialty hospital. So Ben did a very good job of pivoting on that quickly whenever Ian kind of got deeper into the specialty care that they provide at that hospital.
So a couple things I just want to present because I was in that room for just a hot minute. One is be cognizant that you're going to want to jump in. When she says, or in this case, he was Ian, who said, we provide specialty care, like we do trachs and vents and peg tubes and blah, 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 right? You're going to want to immediately jump in and say, we do that! Me! Do it! Right? The challenge here is just hold back for a minute because you want to know what else she says. We don't really want to go on our tangent at this point. We need to understand how often they refer, and I don't want you to get lost in that. So I always say, oh, that's really interesting. I'll write it down. And then at the end, when they say, yeah, we're open to trying you, then I'll circle back on some of those action items. And the only reason I say that, Ben, is because I've gotten off on this tangent for peg tubes or something and didn't get the other 4 questions answered. By the time they got done sharing with me that, they're like, oh my God, I got to go to a meeting. And then I'm stuck. I'm like, oh, shoot. I don't know. Is that once in a blue moon they do that? Or is that every day? I mean, and you have some context because you know about pan specialty, kind of the history and whatnot. But I would just share with all of you during these questions, try and get through the questions first because you're not really there to sell anything. Think of it as being a detective at the moment. I want to investigate what they're doing and how they're utilizing home care so that then I can best position myself. Because if they went down the path of we do peg tubes and vents, trachs, blah, 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 and you were like, yeah, I do that. That's awesome. And then you ask, how often do they refer? And they're like, yeah, once every 3 months.
For the love of God.
Okay, we just spent 10 minutes on trachs and vents when maybe I could have been focusing on something that's a little bit more prolific than that. So awesome. I loved your conversation. Now that was really good. Thank you so much. Good job, Ben. Thank you, Ian, for being a good sport of a referral partner. Good work. All right, how about room 1? That was Chris and Jennifer and Kelly and Matt. Who was my sales rep?
I was, and I took up the whole 5 minutes.
I like it. And then how did it go? What did you like?
It's a little different just because you have the people viewing, so it definitely didn't go as smooth as I would have done in real life. I also would have asked a couple different questions within us talking, which roles, because we're staffed, is which roles do they see more that need per diem coverage rather than just like a blanket statement of like who we have on our faculty.
I think you look great, Matt. And to Melanie's point, what I like about you is you would ask a question and you would be quiet and let her fully answer the question. You weren't talking over her. It felt very respectful. And you did follow the 5 questions, but loosely. But the thing that was great about that is that you made it yours and you made it very conversational. I think you really did great.
I agree. But I was starting to say, Matt, before we got shot back, you just really validated, she was complaining a little bit about her staff and the stress and you were not like, well, we can fix that. You were really validating what she was saying and hearing her. And so I can imagine that she felt really heard in that conversation. So, I could tell that you felt like you were stumbling a little, but you did way better than you thought. Than I could tell you thought you did. So good job.
We're not going to do this out in the field, but what I have learned through all my sales training for how to do workshops better is that the observer is the one who actually absorbs the most. Because as the sales rep, if I'm doing the sales rep one, I'm like going, okay, what should I say? What am I going to do? What's that going to look like? And if I'm the referral partner, I'm like, okay, how am I going to answer this question? And am I going to be mean, or am I going to be good? Or am I going to be easy? And so it's actually the observers who take in both sides of that. And that's often the feedback that we get is like Kelly said, Matt, you did a great job. Whereas you as the person who's doing it may go, I don't know. Was that okay? And I also appreciate when you're out in the field and it's natural, you're going to be much more articulate and you're going to be much more genuine than you are here where we're, kind of in a role play situation scenario stuff. So great job, Matt. Thank you for that. Good work. All right, room 3. That was Brandy and Jason. What'd you guys hear over there?
Jason was our sales guy, and he did a great job. He was very knowledgeable, and I think that was very beneficial to his sales tactic.
Nice. All right, Jason, what did you think?
I mean, the more you use it, it's really easy, right? And then so you want to slow down to go fast. So what Brandy's kind of talking about is making sure you've done a little bit of research, kind of understand, we're asking questions, but I generally don't like to ask questions that I don't know the answers to. So I want to know who they are referring before I ask, who are they referring, right? And so I'm basically gauging if they're being honest with me. I've taken a look at that. I don't tell them that they're lying, but I also know that maybe they don't potentially know. And then I can kind of target that conversation to the outcome that I want. And ropes is generally pretty easy because all you're trying to do is get another meeting to sit down and really kind of discuss what that partnership looks like, right? And so I'm not actually asking for a referral right there. I truly believe that the stronger we can make that transition of a patient on any service, the more that we really understand what those expectations are, then the better we can do to make sure that we A, meet those expectations, but B, become a partner for them. Because there's going to be mistakes. And so when there's mistakes, it's just making sure that you're there, you kind of walk them through and then fix what you need to do going forward. So ropes is very disarming. So that's kind of how I try and approach it. But that's, the hard part is when you're new and you've got 95 different things to do, you want to just go out and wing it. And knowing that you're not good enough to wing it, I think it's the hardest part, right? And so it forces you to slow down.
Well, I do think that people, and me too, still, I'm so excited when somebody says that they are open or, they're either open to trying us or open to listening to what we have to say. That sometimes we get super excited and maybe overzealous about sharing our services. This really pumps the brakes on that and makes you ask questions before you present solutions. I also want to honor Kelly. What Kelly said is, I'm a mentor who always says PAS, a problem, agitate, solution, which is about validating their challenge before just jumping in and saying, I can fix that. We have staffing. It allows us the opportunity to have conversations about that and honor that they are struggling with a particular process or thing. So there's a lot to unpack here. It's deceptively simple. You have your referral source profile in your workbook. Of course, many of you have Salesforce and other things where you're going to put the documentation. The key to success here is document. If you're going out and qualifying 40 accounts in the next week, you will mix them all up. We just know that to be true. So please, please, please document either on the referral source profile, on your iPad, in your whatever tool that you have. Please, please, please document. Now, if they qualify, if they give 2 or more referrals a month in home health, hospice, or in-home care is usually kind of where I start. You can create your own criteria there. Go out 12 weeks in your calendar, put that reveal call because 12 weeks will happen sooner than you know. And this time it's actually pretty easy because you're going to be doing all this kind of all in one cohort and you're batching these questions. But as you move forward, when you approach a new account, you're going to rope them and then you're going to go out 12 weeks in the calendar and put it on there so that when you go out, someday you're going to be there and it's going to say Jason's AL reveal. And I'm going to go, oh my God, has it been 12 weeks since I roped Jason? Let's take a peek at that. Did I see him? Did I actually get a chance to see him during those 12 weeks enough that I can go do that reveal call now or push it out if I didn't get a chance? So this is part of your process. The benefit of doing this is that you will have a repeatable process, which gets you repeatable results, consistent referrals, consistent contracts.